and floors bolted between the two. These floors are pretty elaborate structures with this webbing of trusses underneath. Can you imagine putting your arms around one of these beams? It's pretty large.
Hey, I'm a giant. You know, he's
I look at this picture and
now.
wonder how someone could believe that
Isn't
every
that cool?
single piece of cross-section would disintegrate at the same time.
I am so proud
Due
of
to
him.
heat,
Let me show you
due
his
to
picture.
whatever.
You know, they already have
And
it
as
hanging
they're
in school.
building
Did you
it,
see it?
You can see the
Looks good.
very substantial core columns.
So good.
Looks like it's half the floor space.
Still goes. He's in 8th grade, and when he's like,
And then they went away.
pictures at school. He's so excited. He should be starting with you next year.
Yeah? Right? So proud.
But he seems super interested in it, and I told him, like, you at least have to so you're not super lost.
So here we have
Yes.
WTC3,
Yes.
also known as the Marriott Hotel. Right after WTC2 was destroyed,
Good.
had this big
Good.
gouge out of it. Vertical slice separating the southernmost edge of it. This was before Tower 1 was destroyed, and when Tower 1 was destroyed, the rest of this building went away. And we have these 3 weak checks stabbed into the pavement.
He's in 9th grade next year.
And here is what's left. This little tiny stub looked like it was the base
Good.
of this tall, narrow
Good.
portion. Just a little tiny bit of it left.
A lot of people are like that. And they get distracted with their friends. So they end up like cutting up and messing around with their friends. So the whole first semester is like a blur.
This is looking north, northeast,
But,
across where Tower 1 used to stand an hour or two earlier. Where'd it go?
yes. Yeah, I was worried about you because you and Yadexi would
From
just kind of
this
chit-chat a lot.
down to
And I was worried that you weren't going to buckle down and get it done. But you did.
here's a top view of the site.
Process
Building
that.
4, you don't have the main body of it, you just have the north wing. Where did it go?
Right? And that's a good thing to learn. Yeah.
Where are the towers?
Yeah. Now, I've had those
Baker's
moments
Trust is
before where I
40
learned to
stories.
study. I learned time management because I had
So
so
we're
much
missing
I had to do. And,
60 or 70 stories?
yeah.
Building? More than
And it
half
is,
of
it's
it.
scary. It's sad when kids don't put it in, or if they wait till the last minute and then they have a medical issue or something that doesn't allow them, then it's like, dude,
Where'd
you
it
should
go?
wait till the last minute. You know, I'm sorry, but
Where are the
so that's
towers?
too bad. But Shy Fly's not here because her mom wanted them to take
Where
senior
are the
pictures today in
towers?
Hemis. So she did a cross country this morning and then they left for Hemis. So,
Where'd it go?
yep. So she's done like 7 hours of solo cross country. So, but she still has her long cross country to do. So
Tower
she's going to do
1
that tomorrow. And then she'll be
Is
all done with her
so
solo time, all
overshadowed
done
by
with her
this
cross country.
8-story
So all
remnants
it'll be
of
is
Building
check ride
6.
prep. So I think in
What's wrong with
2
this
weeks.
picture? You should have at
Shoot,
least
maybe
100
in
more
less, maybe
stories
a
of
week.
the north wall of Tower 1.
So
Where
we'll kind
is
of
the
play it
north
by ear,
wall?
but I think she'll be done. And Buster is he's gonna be late, but he'll be here.
Where'd it go?
Josh is gonna be late, but he'll be here. But Buster is ready for solo. So on Monday, I'm gonna fly with him because he wants to go over like go-arounds and stuff. So I'm
Where'd
gonna
it
fly
go?
with him, and then he's gonna solo hopefully on Monday. Yeah,
Where are the towers?
it's really cool. Yeah, Buster said, so I flew with him and I said, I think you're ready to solo. And he's like, yeah, I think you're right. I think
How
just
much
a couple more
energy did it
flights.
take?
And I was like, no, I think you're ready
Well,
to
let's look at some
solo.
pattern
Like not a
recognition
couple
here.
more flights and then
We
solo. I
have
think you're ready
Mount
to
St.
solo.
Helens.
I said, that was the whole point of me flying with you today, is to verify that you're
We have a
you're ready to
nuclear test
solo.
in
And I
Nevada.
verified it, so do it,
And
man.
we have one of the WTC buildings coming apart. To me, they look similar. Probably a similar amount of energy was involved. This is
I
Hiroshima.
laughed at Buster. We were flying today,
A few days
and
before
whenever we
Hiroshima,
hit a
would
bumper,
anyone
we do anything, he
imagine
goes,
this?
"Whoa, whoa!"
Just everything gone.
He's so funny. Whoa, whoa! When we hit a
Dr.
bump.
Wood documented phenomena
That's what
so
Buster does.
unusual.
Yeah.
She had to coin new
Whoa!
terms
Like it freaks him out,
dustification.
Ah, but not like. It's like whoa. Yeah,
There's a lot of dust.
yeah. He's funny. But yeah, he did a great job. Out of all of his landings, Buster's, I think, let's say we did 8 landings, 6 of them
As it
were
happens,
absolutely
here
perfect
is Tower 1
flares.
and Tower 2.
Like sometimes he'd be off center a little bit, but
Large
absolutely
portion
perfect flares.
Filled
And
north,
2 of them,
filled
he
the
just
air,
flared a little high
went
and kind of
everywhere.
dropped it in, but not bad
And
at
it
all.
looks pretty
It's
uniform
like you're
in
better than most
size.
people when they
Except for
solo.
the
You're
paper.
not supposed to be perfect when you solo.
Landed on the fruit. Like a fresh snow.
I bet they
Here's
weren't.
a view from the north.
I had good landings during my
What covered the wheat checks was aluminum cladding,
for my landing.
which you can see those pieces falling off.
But
They
you
don't
did
trail
it.
dust. But the steel wheat checks trailed dust.
But you didn't. No turning upside down. No, you didn't.
I almost clipped the wing. I got a big gust on mine.
This is a rather
I got a
large
huge gust on my
wheat
right
checks
wing, so
falling
I saw
here
it. I was on 2 wheels
with
rolling down
dust
the runway.
shooting out
I
behind
saw
it.
this wing like maybe 3 or 4 feet above the ground, and I pushed it back down and got it
Wow.
on my solo. That was my second landing.
Is the
After that, I
building
was
just
like,
turning to dust?
should I do a third? So
Why?
I rolled for a bit before going again.
We've had some that didn't do
This
a
is
third.
Tower 2, closer to the ground. Do you see any solid
Because
pieces
it's not
of building
required,
coming
but
down?
it just feels,
I
I don't know,
don't.
after you've
I
done
see
3, it feels a
aluminum
little more
cladding
official than doing 1 and saying, okay, I'm done.
But the rest is this type of dust.
Anyway.
It seems to trail behind the wheat checks.
Oh, that was a bad night. That was one of
And then
the
we have
get
dust
there-itis.
everywhere.
I had to do my
This Cushman scooter
commercial
kicks up dust that just stays in
night
the air.
landings.
If you drive down a
And-
dirt road, your pickup truck is going to kick
I
up
don't want to
dust.
say it out loud,
But it pretty quickly settles
especially for
out.
some people.
This does not settle out like that.
Can I mute?
The reason the dust stays in the air is because of the ultrafine particle size, below 1/4 of a micron in diameter. Thomas Cahill of the University of Davis, California, studied the particle size distribution of the minerals in the fumes. Typical
I took off
mechanical crushing
from Berlin,
creates coarse and
And
fine
I'd never taken off at
particles.
night from Berlin.
Very fine
And
and
taken off
ultrafine
on 2-2,
particles are essentially
2-1,
non-existent.
2-1 at Berlin. Taken off
The
on 2-1,
graph heads to 0 and
it's flat.
stays there.
There's nothing. There's no lights. There's
Now
there's
look at
nothing.
what was measured at ground zero.
No.
There is an
they
extraordinary
had to be solo.
presence of ultrafine particles.
That was terrifying.
This
I
is
immediately looked at
conclusive
my
proof
instruments and
that
nothing else
molecular
because nothing else
dissociation
helped
took
me.
place.
And I just flew my instruments. I
Cahill
turned when I
did
was
not
supposed to
count
turn.
particles less
and then I
than
was going into
0.09
Albuquerque.
microns.
I'd never landed
Is
in
this
Albuquerque.
because he was afraid of
Ever.
what he knew he would find?
But it had to be at a towered airport. Yeah. I think now, I turned it back on.
Here are 4 consecutive shots, and you can see these columns just turn to dust.
Yeah. And I thought it'd be easy because it's a huge airport with lights. It's not easy. You go in and it's just a sea of blue and white lights. And
Here's a
if you remember,
video
it's like,
clip, and you can
if
watch
this is
this
the
turn to
runway you're
dust.
lining up on, you can't see it from over here. And you think, where's the runway? I don't see a runway. And you keep going and going and going, but the way the lights are positioned, you don't see it till you're on it. That's terrifying. Oh, it was so scary. So I did them because I had to, you know me, I'm going to get it done. So I got it done, flew back to Berlin. It was windy. It was bumpy. It was so windy.
So is this what happened to the
I come
entire
in
building?
to land, and I go around. I
Perhaps.
can't land.
Let's look
Well,
at it
the
a little
winds
more
are getting
carefully.
worse as time goes on, not
These
better.
4 columns
So
that were
I
left
want to get down
standing for whatever reason
now.
are strong.
I don't want-
rigid. That's a very
Yeah,
tall.
I want to get, well,
supported column.
it's getting worse.
And
So
the
what am I
next
going to
frame
stay up in the air?
starts to tip,
I want to get down now.
and then it turns to dust.
Never had a thought in my head of going to another airport. I'm already scared to death flying right now.
Before it even
I'm
tips over.
right over my airport where my hangar is. I want to get down now. And I think the second time around was I'm just putting it down. I'm just putting it down. And I was going fast.
And
I
as
was
this
high.
dust cloud rolls out,
I probably touched, I don't know where I touched down, but
It's
I
very
rolled until
energetic.
I could see those red
it looks like
end
it's boiling.
runway. I'm putting my feet on the brakes, and I
It's
didn't like
expanding
skid. I
in all
didn't
directions.
have a bald spot. I didn't do anything like that, but it was one of those like, that was really stupid. Yeah, that was really stupid. And yeah, I had my instrument, but not my commercial. But I was never that great of a pilot. I said that out loud, but I was never that great. That's why I kept getting more and more
Tremendous amount of
ratings, is because I
dust.
felt like I'm not that good.
Yeah.
And okay, I took the test and I took the check ride. Like
the
I jumped through
behavior
the
of
hoops.
the dust clouds
But am I a
greatly
proficient
resembled the
instrument pilot?
phenomenon
Heck no.
seen
So
in
then I got my
volcanic
commercial.
eruptions.
I jumped through the hoops. What was I proficient to fly at night? Heck no. But I jumped through the hoops and passed the check ride. But that didn't make me a good pilot. So yeah, that was my Berlin story.
The
I had a few
disintegration
scary,
of the buildings
scary
was not
moments,
the
and that
only
was one of
bizarre
my scary
9/11
moments.
mystery. We have holes.
Oh really? Were you there at Berlin? I don't remember.
So let's look at those holes.
And did you see me like go around, and did you see me like
We
land
look at the
halfway down the
scale.
runway or whatever I
Using
did?
these wheat checks here, because we know about what the spacing is on them. You can figure out these are about 20
Yeah.
foot, 4 foot
Yeah,
diameter
that
holes,
was scary.
or cylindrical cutouts.
So, anyway, all right.
Many of them
Should we
the
get
same
started?
diameter.
All right, everybody have a study guide?
Look how
Here,
far down.
take
the
one
middle of the
down,
hole
pass
is.
it around. Oh,
It's
that's a
empty,
different song.
down to the ground level. 8 stories of building.
All right, good.
Gone.
Do you have one, babe?
This is a look from
All
inside
right.
that hole.
And then when Josh and
Count down from the top.
who
You
else
can
is
count
coming
down
late?
8
Oh,
stories.
Buster.
So you know you're at ground
They can
level.
pay double for theirs. All right, so we're doing the series on how to live smart in a stupid world.
Then we have building 5. that
And
was
I
over in
realized,
Northeast corner.
well, how to build a life you won't regret. I just feel like you guys are so young. So it's like good to not, I mean, one bad decision. Man, one bad decision can wreck a life. You know what I mean? It can totally, if you're on track here and you make one decision, I mean, you hear about, girls getting pregnant in high school, or, they get on pain medications for a knee issue and then they can never get off of them. I mean, I had my cousin's 19-year-old son died the first time he ever tried. I think he used heroin one time, and dead in a McDonald's bathroom. I mean, like one decision. So I feel like Proverbs, I'm sure you guys talked about, I can't remember when we first started Proverbs, but I mean, Solomon was the wisest man to ever live. And we can learn from him. I mean, he wrote books. Don't get me started on Song of Solomon. But Proverbs and Ecclesiastes are two of my favorite books in the Bible. And I feel so, I mean, for us to be able to look over his shoulder and learn from him, it's like someone who's super crazy rich writing, a book for you to say, this is exactly what you need to do to live the right kind of life to get where I am, something like that. So I just think the book of Proverbs, well, the book of, it says that wisdom is more valuable than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare to her. And it's like, if you want, when you read through Proverbs, like just pick it up and read it. People think the Bible is so confusing to understand. You just pick up the book and just start reading it, and it's like, oh man, that's right. Ah, that's true. Or you think, man, health, wealth, and happiness, I think is in Proverbs 3. You can see health, wealth, and if you just follow the guidance. So I just feel like we're so lucky is not a very good Bible word, but so lucky to have all of this wisdom to learn from. That's pretty cool. So how to build a life you won't regret. I think there's no better book.
Am I stretching that to say I agree that before you give your life to the Lord, you're reading the Bible, you get what you get. After you've made that unconditional surrender to Jesus, after you're born again, after you're saved, not Catholic, Baptist, religious, whatever, but you actually step over the line and give your life to Jesus. It's different.
Yeah.
They're the same words, but you just understand it in a different way.
Yeah.
What are your
I think so, because when I read it, like I told you, I'm doing the go through the Bible in a year thing, and I'm like, I don't remember, 80 days ahead or something. I skipped some in Numbers and Leviticus because, I think so. I think so. I'll tell you how many days ahead I am, just so you don't.
How many days in a year?
I'll tell you how many days, just in case I'm lying. 80 days exactly. 80 days ahead. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm 80 days ahead. I'm on day like 159 or 155. And I know. But I did skip some of Numbers in Leviticus because, like, I'm sorry, I'm just not getting anything out of this, and I'm just daydreaming. But I just got through like Chronicles and Kings because it's in chronological order, and like First and Second Kings and First and Second Chronicles are the same stories, but one was written from the perspective of the priests, and one was written from the perspective of the prophets, like the law, and so they're in the chronological Bible. They're kind of woven together. Anyway, I just finished that, and I was so excited yesterday. I was driving home from the open house, and I hit my little Bible app because I listened to it in my AirPods, and it was like Proverbs chapter 1. It's like, yes, I'm on Proverbs. I got through and I'm on Proverbs, and now I'm already on, just since yesterday, the same time. Now I'm in Song of Songs. That's a whole. That's another Solomon book that I don't appreciate as much. We'll talk about that one another time. But anyway, I just feel like this is a great. The whole Bible is a great owner's manual for life, but Proverbs I think is especially kind of rich and so simple to understand. So I just love it. Then I started thinking. So I said we live in a sinful, stupid world. But then I thought, well, will they think that, or is that just me? That we live in a sinful, stupid world? Like, am I just pessimistic now because I'm old and looking back on it? Like, when I was 20, I didn't feel like it was a stupid world. You know, all these opportunities, and it's so much fun, and all these things I'm going to do. And now looking back on it, it's like, it's a simple, stupid world. What do you think about, do you think it's a sinful, stupid world? Or what do you think's good about it versus bad about it? Right? What do you think? Yes.
As long as I'm in it, it's a sinful, stupid world.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I put this is awful, but I put a little suicide note from a college student, but I thought, again, are they going to relate to this? But he said, to anyone in the world who cares, who am I? Why am I living? Life has become stupid and purposeless. Nothing makes sense anymore. The questions I had when I came to college are still unanswered, and now I'm convinced there are no answers. There's only pain and guilt and despair here in this world. My fear of death and the unknown is far less terrifying than the prospect of the unbearable frustration, futility, and hopelessness of continued existence. Now, obviously, I don't think he handled it well, but I think the recognition that this is a stupid, sinful world, that this is, again, I love Ecclesiastes, but the way Solomon put it is meaningless. Hey, if it's Buster, you can do that. Go bite him. Give him just one little nip. Get his attention. But the whole book of Ecclesiastes is kind of how stupid this world is, and how meaningless, says the preacher, everything is meaningless. I think that's how the book starts. But I love it. I love that book because I can relate, because it's like, you know what? Most of life is meaningless. It is superficial. We are hamsters. Hey, Josh. That's okay. Grab some pizza. We are, selling this for $5. We are hamsters, or I feel like.
You're a hamster.
Yeah, I feel like a hamster running on the little hamster wheel, working so hard. And where does it get us? You know, I remember reading something about climbing the corporate ladder, climbing the corporate ladder. And we work so hard to climb that ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be there. I do AME exams all the time on like corporate pilots. And at least 2 in the last 3 days have said, I don't like this. I thought I would love this, and I don't like this. One guy's my age, which I know I'm old, but I don't think I'm that old. And he's like, this is probably the last medical I'm going to get. And I said, why? And he's like, I'm tired of it. He's like, I get in a plane, and this is going to sound cool to you guys, but again, you guys have a different perspective than someone who's been doing it for a while. He's like, I get in a plane, I'm leaving tonight, and I'm going to take a 14-hour flight to Dubai. And again, it's like, ooh, Dubai, how cool. But it's like, he's sitting down for 14 hours, he's exhausted, he goes to a hotel, goes to sleep, gets a cab or an Uber, comes back to the airport, and flies away. You know, it's not as glamorous as you think it is when you're signing up. Somebody is actually a good friend of mine, but she's doing regionals now. And she's starting another business, just a private business with her and her husband, she and her husband. And she's like, I don't like it. I don't like the schedule. Now, if I get hired by the airlines, shoot, I'll give it a shot. But this isn't me. This isn't the life I want.
Ordinary mortals, just making people think what you said is just so glamorous. You get to fly.
I know.
Travel, but somebody else is paying for it.
Yeah, I know. I told you I used to feel stupid not complaining about being a doctor, but I used to tell Tony I feel trapped by my medical degree because I have to be a doctor. I mean, I've worked all these decades, you know, these couple of decades just in school to become a doctor. You can't just work for a while and say, nah, I'm done. But a lot of us do. You know, you watch videos on nurses, doctors, teachers who are like, I'm fed up with this, I'm done with this, this is stupid. You know, everything seems so fun when you're young, and then you look back on it. Shoot, the people who have climbed Mount Everest, they get to the top. There was a guy who climbed up to the top. He said, he was already exhausted, and he looked around. He did a picture to all 4 sides, looked around again, and then started his trek down. And he was, instead of being invigorated, he was deflated because it was like, okay, I did it, I saw it. What's next? It's almost like we're always reaching for that next fun adventure, always reaching for that next cool thing, and then we do it, and it's like, okay, that's fine, but it wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it would be. But I just think we live in a sinful, stupid world. We'll have to go through Ecclesiastes sometime. Romans 2:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world. Why? Because it's a sinful, stupid world. I love this too. Like you see Romans and James and 1 John. I don't know if we've ever talked about this in church, but this book is not one book. It's 66 different books written over 1,500 years by 44 different authors on 3 different continents, all different. Like one was a lawyer, right? No, a doctor. One was a fisherman, zealot, like a terrorist kind of guy. Just a brother of Jesus like nobody. I did already say fisherman. Like people from all different walks of life. And they all tell one consistent, cohesive story. Who does that? Like if I were to ask, just the few of us, like, give me all your thoughts on abortion. Give me all your thoughts on LGBTQ, RST, none of us would agree on everything. Guys from all different walks of life from 1,500 years, and the doctor didn't look down on the fisherman and say, he was a fisherman. Come on, guys. He didn't really understand intellectually the situation. Let me tell you how it really was. No, they agreed with each other, and they all had the same cohesive message. We're sinners. There's a Savior. Then I do my ABCs, but admit you're a sinner, believe that Jesus is who he said he is, and commit your life to him. That's a pretty simple message. You can't get there on your own. You can't be good enough. You can't earn your way. You can't do enough good deeds to outweigh your bad deeds. Admit you're a sinner. Believe that Jesus is who he says he is, and commit your life to him. ABCs. Anyway, so I think this is cool because you see Romans, James, 1 John, and then inside we're going to read others. But Paul wrote the letter to the Romans saying, do not conform to the pattern of this world. Then he says, instead be transformed by the renewing of your mind, and that's obviously through God's word. James 4:4 says, you adulterous people. Now he's not talking about marital infidelity, not sexual adultery. He's talking about spiritual adultery. You adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity or like hatred against God, war against God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. Now that sounds like, I think to most unbelievers for sure, those who haven't crossed that crazy line to give their life to Jesus, that just sounds kind of hateful. You can't be a friend of this world? That's just mean-spirited. But in 1 John 2:15, again, use other scriptures to interpret, John explains exactly what this world means. He doesn't mean don't be a friend of anybody in this world. This says don't love the world or anything in the world. That doesn't mean you can't love the trees or you can't love puppies or anything like that. He says if anyone loves the world, again, this sounds kind of harsh, love for the Father is not in them. But here he defines it. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. That's how he's defining, quote unquote, the world system. The lust of the flesh. What do you think the lust of the flesh is? That's not too hard to interpret. Compared to the lust of the eyes or the pride of life.
The things that we want.
Yeah, your desires. And it doesn't have to be sexual lust, but although that's part of it. But like, I lust after potato chips. Pizza. I was going to say pizza because that's behind me, but it's still hay. Yeah, the lust of the eyes. It's like covetousness, like I want more. Like, oh, I see that airplane, and now I'm not satisfied with my little airplane. I want that airplane. Oh, look at what they have. Always wanting more, never being satisfied. And the pride of life. Shoot, God says a lot. The book of Proverbs says a lot about arrogance, haughtiness, thinking we're all that. Man, as pilots, that's kind of hard for us. As aviators, that's kind of hard for us because we start feeling like we're above everybody else. I was talking to an FAA guy today, and he's like, man, that pilot attitude. There's a pilot who got mouthy with the FAA, saying, you guys have the communication skills of a box of crayons. Well, although it's a little funny, that was not the time he's talking to the FAA. And he's like, boy, I am about the only one who can help you right now. And if I hang up this phone, I am never picking it up again. It's like, whoa. So, the pride of life, arrogance, haughtiness.
Tammy's going to have that kind of power?
Yeah.
Tammy's going to have that kind of control over people?
If I hang up this phone, that's going to be her new line. Hey, Buster, if I hang up this phone, I am not picking it up again. Get some pizza.
I'm okay, I just ate.
And get a Coke. I was going to charge you $5 for that, but I'm feeling generous. We're just on the front here. But,
When you're talking about the pilot attitude,
yeah.
becoming a doc. Which all doctors, or some doctors worse than others? And that's,
Oh, yeah, surgeons are the worst. Oh, the worst. When I went to medical school, initially, I was going to be a surgeon. But the surgeons, and no kidding, even when they're like out, we hired a surgeon for a time doing some procedures in the office. They literally, like, they'll use their little iodine, like, to wash something, and they just throw it, like, against the wall and on the floor. And it's like, I wouldn't let a kindergartner get away with that. They yell at nurses, awful. They're demanding, they're awful. When I did neurosurgery, for some reason the neurosurgeons,
What do you mean, when you did neurosurgery?
no, when I did, yeah, sorry. And in this situation, I was specifically doing anesthesia. And when we'd have neurosurgical cases where the neurosurgeons were operating, they listened to the most raunchy headbanging music, like the worst. And they had no respect for the patient, no respect for those. I mean, we're women and we're not, they're talking about, you grab that bee and you blah, blah. It's like, dude, what do you listen? You're supposed to be a professional. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And then when you hear about, this is all not the medical stuff, it just made me think of the Epstein stuff. When you hear about some of those accusations that look pretty, it's like, what human would do that? What human could possibly, take a little child and have a party and trade them around and just horrible things.
So that category would be like the super rich.
Yes.
A surgeon attitude, that attitude, the super.
Yeah. Oh, we saw a video of a girl who went to Harvard. Bless her heart. I thought it was a good video, and just YouTube. And she, kind of like a lot of young people, like everyone wants to go to Embry-Riddle, in aviation, and then you go and it's like, it's not all that. Like, you go there and you see what it is. So she went to Harvard, and she was so proud. She'd worked so hard her whole life. All she wanted to do was go to Harvard. So she gets to Harvard, and she said it was absolutely awful. It was usually the white males were just horrible human beings. And she thought, they had so much money and they were so entitled. Karens, but men. Probably just because there were more of them at Harvard, I don't know. Or maybe they just had that arrogance, like they grew up thinking they ruled the world, where more women don't kind of grow up with that mentality.
Coming out of Harvard and secret societies, they might rule the world.
Yeah, and then she realized these are the people who are going to be the heads of corporations and that, have a ton of power, politicians and everything else. And it was horrible because she couldn't, there were tons of like sexual abuse, of, people get given like roofies to the girls, and then they'd wake up the next day and didn't know everything that had happened to them. Tons of that. And
Pretty sure bad things had happened.
yeah, bad things. Yeah, from evidence, there were bad things that happened to them. They knew where they were before that happened. They knew what they had to drink, and they didn't remember anything else, and then woke up at some other guy's house or whatever. And so this girl, even though it was her lifelong dream to go to Harvard, she was there for, I don't remember, a year?
Made it
A year, and she decided to transfer. She's like, I don't want any part of this life. The only people she felt somewhat comfortable with were the kind of the outcasts, the outsiders, whatever. And she just kind of ostracized herself and didn't want to be around anybody. Well, after she had decided to leave, she felt a little more, I don't know, I think she decided to leave. She was going to leave at the end of the semester, and it had been a month or two, I'm making up the times, and she felt like there was one guy I think she either rode the bus with or had a class with or something.
Yeah, they used to do stuff in the inner city, meeting kids and stuff.
Yeah, like a
He didn't
nice,
seem entitled like the
exactly,
other rich guys.
exactly. He was just this nice guy, and I think he invited her to his house for something.
Let's go have a drink at my house.
Yeah, and I don't even remember like having a drink. It was like, let's have, they were going to do like not video games, but something, something like that, where it seemed like innocent and like nerdy games, like Minecraft. I don't know if that's nerdy or not, but that's the only thing I could think of. I don't play video games, but something like that. And she thought, you know what? I need to relax. I'm already out of here. This seems like a nice guy. Everyone's not evil. And so she went. And she felt comfortable because she said that he was a really scrawny guy. She said, I could overpower him. So I felt like, this is a nerdy, scrawny guy inviting me over to play video games, and I need to socialize a little bit more. So she relaxed. And she said, and then the football team came over.
Well, they did have a drink.
Before the football team came over? So she had a drink. Football team, did she already go outside? So at some point, I don't know if the football team was.
She went for a smoke.
She said, I went out for a smoke, and she said, and that was a bad mistake. Because apparently he put something in her drink when she went out for a smoke. So she came back, she had one beer or something. She came back, finished her drink, and then after that, the football team came in. And she said, my head started swimming, and I didn't even kind of think about what was happening. And then a football player came beside me and he put his hand on my thigh. And she said, and I realized I can't move my legs. And that's when she realized what had happened. This is I just got chills. Because this is not just some story, this is some girl who just dreamed. Again, we reach for it, we reach for it, we reach for it, and then we realize, what? It's like sand just going through your fingers. And this girl worked hard. You can imagine how hard it is to get into Harvard. She gets there, sees these entitled brats who are doing horrible things and not getting into trouble. She told people stuff that was happening, and they all dismissed it like, it just happens here. Like they're never going to get into trouble. So even when people had these horrible things happen, they never told, because it doesn't do you any good. It's just allowed or accepted. It's normalized. The normalization of deviance we've talked about in aviation before is just kind of normalized. And when the football player put his hand on her thigh, she realized she couldn't move her leg. And she said when it dawned on her what happened, she thought, I have to get out right now or I won't be able to. And she said, I mustered every bit of energy I could and stumbled to, I think she couldn't even.
She jumped up and said, I have to go pee.
Oh.
That's all she could think of to say. With all of her, I've got to go pee. So they let her out of the room.
Yeah, and I think she had to figure out where the door was to get out. And she got out and was screaming for help.
She stumbled into someone that she knew, another girl.
Oh, you've got to get me home. Yeah, you've got to. And then she doesn't remember anything else until she woke up at home and realized what almost happened to her because of one bad mistake. It's horrifying what this world.
It kind of sounds like, I keep interrupting, but as I recall, bad situations in aviation, it's not usually one bad mistake, is it? Isn't it usually boom, 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 boom,
Swiss
boom.
cheese. Yeah, all those holes that just kind of line up. Yeah, and you wouldn't think that going to this guy's house, she felt like I am being too harsh on people. I need to just go to this guy's house, have a little fun, just play this video game with him, and then went out and had a smoke, came back. Anyway, I think it's horrifying.
This is kind of depressing, but it's not exclusive to Harvard or those elite schools. I knew multiple people that had stories of things like that happening or getting roofied at places. And then beyond that, my mom, she sometimes goes out drinking and dancing at some country place or whatever. But last weekend, even she got roofied by someone.
Whoa.
Her boyfriend was with her, so he took her home. But she's still. It's like the dude is probably 50 and spiking girls' drinks. It's man, it spans all age ranges and across the flat earth. I was about to say globe, but it's widespread. It's prevalent. Yes.
So how extreme am I? How extreme am all of you? But how extreme am I when I say, so don't party, don't drink, don't go out? That sounds stupid, but how do I sound when I say that? Besides stupid and old.
It's wise.
Yeah, but does that mean we're like the girl? So I never get to have a friend, never get to hang out, I never get to, because most people don't see drinking the way I do. The Bible doesn't say thou shalt not have a drink. It doesn't say thou shalt, what do I say? The Bible doesn't say thou shalt not toppeth on a cooler. It doesn't say that. It says don't be drunk. It says don't let anything be your master. But I say you can't get drunk if you don't have a drink, right? And so my positions are kind of to, what do we call them around here? The Tonyisms, right? The Tonyisms where you don't have a thus saith the Lord for it. So I would say don't go to the casino, don't have a drink, don't smoke, don't, and it sounds like I'm saying don't do anything fun. But it doesn't always work that way. But it seems, to me, again, I'm a little old man, it seems best to have guardrails that keep you way away from the ditch. Then that, it's not realistic for you guys, though, is it? You still have life to live.
I think it's not
I
hard.
think you should go get drunk. Nope.
It's not hard to stay out of like those environments, I think.
It's not hard to stay out of
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't you feel lonely or excluded when everybody else is
Oh, yeah.
doing that and having a good time, and you feel like,
So even Christians go party, even Christians have a drink, even Christians go to the casino, even Christians. So that bugs me because I think that when you give your life to the Lord, like Paul said in Romans, don't be like everybody else. Don't be like the unbelievers. Be different. But
and what's cool in Ecclesiastes, and I know we're not primarily in Ecclesiastes, but Solomon wrote Ecclesiastes just like you wrote Proverbs, is, well, it's kind of cool and kind of not, because he's the wisest man ever, and he gave us incredible words to live by that he didn't really live by. So it's almost like do as I say, not as I do. But I feel like in aviation, we always talk about learning from other people's mistakes. We can learn from his mistakes. If he was the wisest man ever and he fell into this, number one, how easy is it for us to fall into it? And if you look at it scientifically, I get ridiculed when I talk about it like this, but he, in Ecclesiastes, Solomon, says that basically, still with wisdom, he looked for meaning in life. He looked for what can bring me fulfillment. And he tried women. And he tried riches. And he tried 900 of them. So when we talk about Song of Solomon, where he's writing how the love of his life is the love of his life, it's like, said the woman with 900 women, or said the man with 900 women. Oh yeah, 700, 300 wives and 700 concubines. That's right, 300 wives and 700 concubines.
and those are just the ones in his,
In his harem.
who knows what else he was doing out there.
What,
Dang.
what I understand, I could be wrong, but I think scholars tend to say that Song of Songs was written when he was young and in love, Proverbs was middle age, and Ecclesiastes when he was old.
Yes.
But the woman specifically in Song of Songs, people say that that woman was his first wife, supposed to be his only wife, but along the way, fell into sin.
Yeah. And he ended up.
Brought a friend home for dinner.
He had a big heart.
Yeah.
I won't go there. But yeah. I wonder if with Song of Solomon's, I wonder if he really was in love. I wonder if something happened to her, where it was almost like that devastation, that emptiness, that loss, and you try to fill that loss with, it's like relationships lose their meaning, and then he just accumulated. I don't know, that's pure speculation.
I actually just thought can't back up what I just said. She's only named once or twice in the book. She's called the Shemuelite bride, and Shemuel is another way of saying Solomon. It's basically saying Mrs. Solomon. Shemuelite bride.
Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, we better keep going or I'm going to run out of time. But, well, the bottom kind of explains it in the red where it says, are we willing to swim upstream? We are literally, well, not literally, but we're that little goldfish that is cute and little gold.
I didn't even notice what that little goldfish was doing.
He's swimming upstream. He's going against, yes. That's what he's doing. And that's a lonely place to be. But if we're going to follow this, that's us. And that's hard, especially at your age. that's hard. Once you're old like me, shoot, I don't care.
And once you're old like me, nobody cares.
But that doesn't mean you don't have a fulfilling life. The book of Proverbs tells us how to have health, wealth, and happiness if we follow his principles. Okay, so page inside. How to control your cravings specifically. First, is it normal to have cravings? Is it sinful to have cravings? Is it normal to have cravings?
What's a craving?
Well, what's a craving? What's another word for craving?
Want.
A want? A desire?
Is a craving more than a want? Is it more than a desire? Or is it just a want? It feels like a need, but it's not a need. That's pretty good.
Would you call it a temptation? A craving? So are temptations sinful? If you're tempted to hook up with that girl, if you're tempted to get drunk with your friends, if you're tempted to, is that a sin to be tempted? How do we know it's not a sin to be tempted? Jesus was. Thank you, Buster. Hebrews chapter 2:17. For this reason, he, Jesus, had to be made like them, people, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of the people. Because he himself suffered when he was tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weakness, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are. Yet, what's the difference? He did not sin. We give in, but he didn't. Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So he didn't sin, but he is God. So I can't be God. I can't be like him. Nobody's perfect. So it's not a big deal if we fall into temptation, if we succumb. Matthew says, watch and pray that you don't. But the spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. Oh well, boys will be boys. And we make excuses. And we feel like because we're human, we just have to. So 1 Corinthians 10:12. So if you think you're, and again, kind of like we talked about on the first page, we had Romans, that's Paul, then we had James, then we had John. Hebrews, we're not sure who the author is. Then we have Matthew. Then we have Paul speaking to the church of Corinth. We have all these guys all saying the same thing from their own perspectives in their own way. 1 Corinthians 10:12. So if you think you're standing firm, like once you get kind of cocky, like, psh, I'm above all that, be careful that you don't fall, lest you fall into temptation. No temptation has overcome you, has overtaken you, except what is common to mankind. Check this out. God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you're tempted, he will also provide a way out so you can endure it. So you can't just use the excuse to say, oh, it wasn't my fault. Yeah, spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I'm just a sinner. I'm just a human. God promises us that when there's a temptation, we can always walk away. We can always say, oh man, he looks good. We can always avert our eyes. We can always decide not to. It feels like a need, but it's not. We can control our cravings. Okay, how? Rather than following this world, God wants us to follow his word. So this is now where we're going to get into the Proverbs part. We're just going to look at one chunk. And I think we can finish it up. I don't think it's going to take that long. So Proverbs chapter 4, verse 20 to 27. Again, this is Solomon writing, my son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. And what strikes me in this, one of the things that strikes me in this passage is, I don't know if it's silly, but as a doctor, it's like he talks about so many body parts. He talks about your ears and your lips and your feet and your hands and your eyes. He's like, you have to control every part of your body. You have to be careful with what your eyes are looking at and where your feet are going and what your ears are listening to. 1 Corinthians 9:27, again now back to Paul, he says, I discipline my body and I keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. Man, how many hypocrites in the church. A lot of people won't go to church because of all the hypocrites. And we should, I mean, to some extent, we're all hypocrites. We all say, live a godly life, and we all fall short, every one of us. So we're all hypocrites in a way. So come on, there's room for one more, you know. Yep, we're all a bunch of hypocrites, come. But we should strive not to be hypocrites. You know, for people who say follow Jesus, but they're racist, or people who say follow Jesus, but they're hateful, or they have a potty mouth, or they're abusive, or they're whatever. Christians should live differently. We should be lights in a dark world. If we're dark like everybody else, how does that benefit anybody?
They want to know that they can follow us. We're supposed to be light in a dark world, and part of the reason for that is not just be a good Boy Scout, be a good boy, be a good girl, but that's one of the ways that God attracts people to Him, because we're living like Him, looking like Him.
We're supposed to be ambassadors of Christ. That's our job on this world. We're an ambassador of Christ. Like Huckabee is an ambassador to Israel of America, represents America to Israel, just as an example. He's the Israeli ambassador. We're the ambassadors for God to this whole world. That's crazy. As if God is making his appeal, the Bible says, through us. So if we're bad examples, it's like, what hope does this world have to see who God really is, who Jesus really is, and what he offers to us? Job 31:1, I just like this. Again, this is controlling your body, controlling your eyes and your heart and your mouth and your lips. He said, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman. Young woman, not old woman, because
What about an old one?
yeah, we're not that we're not that appealing anymore. But you kind of have to. I mean, Tony has said before, you can't control if the bird lands on your head, but you can control letting it make a nest. It's okay to notice. I mean, if somebody hot walks in and Tony kind of, well, he better not look twice, but the first time, it's like, shoot, yeah, she's hot, whatever.
I was
Oh,
thinking,
sorry.
no, you're good. Adultery in the mind is just as bad as adultery in the flesh. Is that the one temptation that could be sin, even if you don't act on it?
No, so temptation isn't the sin, but succumbing to it. So Jesus basically said, if you have hatred towards your brother, like he said, you have heard, do not murder. But I say, if you have hatred in your heart, you've murdered already. I'd rather you hate me than murder me, personally. Like, I think there is a difference, but he's basically saying sin is an inside problem. It's not just what you do with it. It starts on the inside. It starts in your heart. So if you look lustfully at a woman, he said, you have heard it said, do not commit adultery. But I tell you, if you've looked lustfully at a woman, then you've committed adultery in your heart already. I think that's different. I think that's embracing it. I think that's going after it. I think that's wanting it, and it's not rejecting it. Well, I haven't looked lustfully at a woman, but you dudes have probably you've all looked lustfully at a woman. I mean, that's just part of our nature. You've looked lustfully. You look at me, baby. Yo, handsome.
That sounds weird to hear an old man talk.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
But you guys get it. Every one of us have done that. That's human nature. But where Job says, I've made a pact with my eyes, it's like you see it. Shoot, I've had to turn away like scrolling on Facebook. Shoot, we've had church people post these dudes without shirts on. Remember, we've had church people, yeah, post these things. And it's like, I mean, some of them are just gross and some of them look good. But you have to like keep scrolling because it's like, okay, I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it. I know it sounds gross for an old woman, but okay, we'll move on. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That is so hard to do. Shoot, some of us have like barely escaped the claws. Like, man, we have to guard our heart because it's so easy to get sucked into an unhealthy relationship. It is so easy for our hearts to get involved in something that we shouldn't get involved in. I just put there that your heart is your inner life, your thought life. It's not your two ventricles and your two atrias going thumpa, thumpa, thumpa. When God says, you know, when God talks about your heart, he's not talking about your thumpa, thumpa.
So how could you know?
How could you know what?
You guys follow the Erica and the Charlie Kirk things, but more and more stuff's coming out that it seems to strengthen the proposition, the possibility that she was put into his life, that he was handled from the time he was young to lead this organization that somebody else was building.
You keep talking.
Putting him there, and that she was putting his life to get his attention, keep his attention, lead him. So she was in the camera. She was in some of the places like Spy and Honey Pot, right? So that everything, so that he was lured, not just because she liked him. Hey, I want you, baby, and I want to look attractive for the Charlie, so you're not just going to hire me, you'll want to marry me, right? But it seems like there's more and more, doesn't prove it, but there's more and more information coming out that sounds like maybe that was intentional, and then somebody set her up to attract him so that they could control him in this huge international endeavor, especially the American international endeavor. My question is, what if that's true? How do you know? How do you know? You can't. Jeremiah says you can't follow your heart because our heart is messed up. You can know it. How do you know if somebody's playing you for a fool? I remember that happened to me in the 6th grade. Her name was Carla, and she
Oh,
sent
no.
me a note, and I read. She was sitting back there, and 6th grade, and
Pajarito?
no, Los Pedidos.
Oh.
And I read the note, no, Polk, it was in Polk, middle school, and I read it, and it said, I like you, I won't play you for a fool if you don't play me for a fool. And I turned red, like I'm getting embarrassed just thinking about it now. I was in love with her, everybody was in love with Carla, and I was back there, you're kind of looking at me, she played me for a fool.
I'm sorry.
I know, how was I supposed to know? Wait a minute. Burned me. How many years ago? 60 years ago. Yeah.
I mean, there's no formula, but I think don't rush into a relationship. Don't let it go too fast. Get over all the honeymoon of a relationship where it's just filled with emotion, and try to evaluate critically how they treat other people, how they live this.
I could probably one of my
But-
questions, right, don't date. Well, how are you supposed to get to know somebody? And so we basically say get to know people, but get to know them in a herd.
Yeah,
Right?
like this.
You're hanging out.
Yeah.
You're getting to know people. You see how they are when things don't go right. You know, you guys are all sitting around at Wendy's or someplace, you know, McDonald's even, and you see when it's time to throw all your trash, who leaves their trash on the table. You know, you see how they freak out when they get their order wrong. You get to know people in a herd, but you know that's unrealistic, isn't it? I'm asking you. You're up to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't think there's a formula. I think you just have to be willing to take it slow and be willing to critically evaluate and not get your heart wrapped around someone before you really know them, because once your heart's wrapped around them, you're going to do stupid things. You're going to make stupid decisions. You start getting all where you're not even thinking. You just kind of follow them around like a little puppy, and you're not critically evaluating. I think having people in your life that you really trust, godly people in your life that you trust, that can help you evaluate. The Bible talks a lot, Proverbs talks a lot about listening to advice, godly counsel. We don't like to listen to advice because we think, oh, no, she's not like that, she's not like that. But if your best buddies who care about you and who care about God say, I don't know, there's something off about her, are they leading you closer to Jesus, or are they leading you farther away? Are they helping you compromise, or are they strengthening your relationship with God? I think those things are good indicators.
Husband or a wife, if they're not biblically, Paul said, if you can stay single, that's best. But if not, because
Amen.
we're not. Too late. Most of us are not wired that way, right? So if a guy does get together with a gal and they get married, she should be pulling him closer to Jesus. He should be pulling her closer to Jesus. If she's not pulling him closer to Jesus, but by then usually your heart's wrapped up around him and it's hard to walk away. If Lauren loves the Lord more than I love the Lord, she's smarter than I am. She doesn't. This says she doesn't have any business hanging out with me. But if you're lucky enough, that's a good word, lucky. If you're lucky enough to be with somebody who loves the Lord more than you do, who loves you more than you love them, well, that's crazy, because they shouldn't be hanging out with you. But that's what you want, because it's supposed to be 100%, 100%. It's not supposed to be 50-50, because you're never going to get your share. You know what I mean? How far off am I?
Yeah. When I was in medical school, I'd just gotten saved probably a year or two earlier, maybe a year, and I got asked out by a guy who was really good looking. He was in medical school, so he's going to be a doctor. He was really cute. He was like one of those, it doesn't matter. And he invited, he invited me to a G-rated movie, which I thought was precious. I just thought that was precious. And I turned him down and decided I am not going to date, because I thought he is someone I'd wrap my heart around, and I don't know him at all. I don't know him at all. I do not want to go to a movie and have a great time and start getting all gooey about some guy, and I don't know him. And I thought, I can't trust myself. Like, I can't trust my heart. I can't trust my perspective. And I turned him down nicely and literally said, I'm not going to date. I don't care if I ever get married. Like, if I'll do whatever God wants me to do, but I'm not going to put myself in that position. How many people that you know are married and they're miserable? Most. I mean, seriously. And it's like, you get with some girl and you have a great time together. You party together, you hang out together, a great time together, and you think that that's going to keep you together for the next 60 years? Like, that's hard. I think that's hard. So, 5 ways to control your cravings quickly, because we're already out of time. All from this passage, so I already read it, but we'll read it quickly. Watch what you hear. My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. If you are filling your ears with, like the neurosurgeons doing the surgery, with this raunchy, horrible music, how do you think it's going to make you feel and act? If I'm around people who are cussing all the time, what words do you think come to my head when something bad happens? I'm not around people who cuss all the time, but like if I'm on the phone with my brother a lot or something, and then those words start coming to mind. He's like, be careful what you hear. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful watch what you hear. Watch how you think. Above all else, above everything else, guard your heart. For everything you do flows from it. Number 3, watch what you say. We're going to talk about, what did I put on the thing? Something about watching your words, or monitoring your mouth, or I don't remember what I said on one of the options, but keep your mouth free from perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. And this could be, flattery is corrupt talk. If you're the Bible has a lot to say about people who are like, oh, Mija, you're so sweet. No, you look so good. No, you're just the best. You're the best. But they're saying it just to ingratiate themselves with you, like they're just trying to get something from you or trying to get on your good side. The Bible has a lot to say about people who are just flatterers. It could be gossip. It could be, talking to people behind their back. So it's not just cuss words. You know how I am on that. Yeah, lying. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about all that when we talk about watching your mouth. But the Bible has so much. You wouldn't think it would be a big deal. Like, what's the difference between shoot and the other? It's like it's one letter. Who cares? It's a word. But God cares. So watch what you say. Watch what you want. Watch what draws you. He says, that's a picture of the horse right there with the blinders on. Are those called blinders? Keep your eyes, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. What are those things on the horse for? Why do they put them there? Yeah, to keep them from getting distracted. I've seen some of the dog races where they're like little hot dogs and little things, and they're supposed to like keep doing this, but there are all sorts of temptations around, little treats outside, but they're supposed to run the course. And you'll see on YouTube, you'll see one dog just and just goes right through it. And then you see like a golden retriever who's like just eating all the treats and never going through the course. The blinders are to keep the horse focused on where they're supposed to go and not be distracted by everything around us. And the Bible says if we're smart, if we want to keep ourselves out of trouble, that's what we're going to do. And then finally, watch where you go. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. If you hang out, again, this is all through the Bible, Psalm 1, but if you hang out with people doing stupid things, you're going to do stupid things. Bad company corrupts good character, the Bible says. You should pick your friends very, very carefully. Bad company corrupts good character. So should you trust your heart or should you tame your heart? Tony already gave us the passage, the Jeremiah 17:9 passage. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? You've heard your mom or somebody say, oh, just trust your heart. Oh, just trust your heart. Do whatever your heart tells you. It sounds sweet, but it's not biblical. We can't trust our heart. Our heart is stupid. So tame it, it's sinful, and train it, it's stupid. Okay, page last, quickly. All right, what cravings are we trying to control? Well, I put there the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. I think that kind of encapsulates most of our temptations in life. It's either something, the lust of the flesh, that's going to be it's going to be sensual. Whether that's sexual or not, it's going to be sensual. The lust of the flesh, that might be drinking. I've known, it could be potato chips. I've known good people. I've had good friends. It's like they drank like normal human beings, and then they drank more than normal human beings, and then they couldn't stop drinking. Smart people, good people. And it's like it gets its claws into you and never lets you go. Horrible. So lust of the flesh, again, it could be sexual, of course, but it's not just sexual. But anything sensual. It's anything that gives you, well, it's going to sound like an old lady, but anything that's that pleasurable, that's that, you just have to be careful. It's like you can have things, but things shouldn't have you. Like you can have money, but money shouldn't have you. It's okay to have fun, but fun shouldn't have you. It shouldn't control you. You shouldn't live Monday through Friday just to party on the weekends. Just to have fun on the weekends. Our goal should be higher than that. But the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes. Yeah. It's never satisfying. It's like the people we talked about climbing Mount Everest or going after those goals. It's like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's never going to satisfy. The lust of the eyes. Man, I have story after story about people who won like the Powerball, and their lives fell apart afterwards. You know, you feel like, oh, that's all I need. If I could just have $1 million, oh, I would do so many good things with it. And then their lives are just trashed. The lust of the eyes, I think it's just always wanting more. There's nothing wrong with getting more. There's nothing wrong with working hard to get more. But when we're just constantly driven to, I'm not satisfied here, I need to be here. Now I'm not satisfied here, I'll be satisfied, maybe here. And that's just an awful, awful place to live. The Bible talks a lot about greed. It's okay to have money. Money shouldn't have you, again. And the pride of life. Again, that's just, man, politicians, powerful people, the rich people who it's not just about money anymore. It's just about power. It's about controlling other people. No, not pilots never get that way. Pilots are humble, gracious, kind people. Do you think that everyone struggles with the same cravings, or you think we all have different ones? You think we're led astray by different cravings or the same ones? Different? Yeah. Now, the Bible says that no craving, you're not going through any temptation that isn't common to man, but do you think your temptations might be different than mine? Yeah. His temptations are different. I don't crave potato chips like he does. And he doesn't crave power like I do. Just kidding. But, yeah, no kidding though. Some people, like when I was in medical school, there was nothing more I wanted to do than get finished with my shift, get finished with my work, and get home. But there were a lot of guys, usually the men for some reason, they stayed, and they loved hearing the word doctor. Oh, Dr. Smith. Oh, Dr. Jones, will you just stay and help me with this? Yes, I'll help you. I was like, I'm out of here. Not because I didn't want to be helpful, but like I didn't get this power trip on being called doctor. You would think.
What you used to tell about guys in the ER who hopefully have an exciting.
Oh. They'd say, I hope we have a good trauma tonight. And it was a nurse, and I looked at her and I said, do you realize what you're saying? You're hoping someone is severely traumatized to have to come to the ER? Well, I'm not saying I hope they're hurt, but if they are hurt, I hope it's tonight. That adrenaline rush, that adrenaline junkie. And yeah, she kind of messed up her life. But people who are always seeking that thrill-seeking attitude, I think they get messed up.
I was reminded of this story way earlier. There's this guy that I kind of feel like I relate to a lot. I didn't do what he did. Not yet, at least.
Uh-oh.
His name is Chris McCandles. This was like back in the 90s, I think. He loved adventuring. He just loved going out on foot and exploring the country. He soloed Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Tetons, Grand Canyon, and he didn't have a dime to his name. He hitchhiked to get everywhere he went. And eventually, off the coast of California, he hitched a ride to Alaska. And he determined he was going to walk from the northernmost city in Alaska to the northernmost coast of Alaska by himself. He didn't make it halfway. It snowed real heavily, and there was this stream that he could not cross. He got snowed in. He couldn't turn back. Way out there was an abandoned bus that he found shelter in, but he was lost, snowed in. He didn't know where he was, and they think he died because of the berries he was eating.
Oh, wow.
They were actually poisoned. He didn't recognize that they were poison berries. But the last thing he wrote in his journal was, I finally come to realize that after all my adventuring, there's nothing as fulfilling in this world than being with my friends and family. And he died the next day. Some hunter found him a week later, just too late. He was up there for like a month by himself.
Wow.
Just a week too late.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, everything's so appealing. Everything's so alluring. and we chase after so much. And again, in Ecclesiastes, Solomon gives us his scientific experiment. I tried to find pleasure with women. It was empty. I tried to find pleasure in building projects and being industrious, and it was empty. And I tried to find pleasures with music and with this and with this and with this, and at the end, I mean, it's optimistic and pessimistic. Everybody sees him as just this grumpy old man at that point saying, man, everything's horrible. But he said, this is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and follow God. That's it. We can have adventure as we're fearing God and following God. We can have fun as we're fearing God and following God. It's not that we can't have fun, but what's drawing us shouldn't be the next adventure. What's drawing us is, how can I live this out? How can I make God proud? How can I do good things in his name? How can I shine my light among others so that they can get to know God? You know what I mean? And Solomon, whether it's in Proverbs or Ecclesiastes, is just filled with that kind of wisdom that most people your age aren't deep enough to really get. I wouldn't have at your age. I wouldn't have gotten it. But you guys are smarter than I was. And I do think we all have different cravings. I mean, it's still common to man, but what tempts one person is not going to tempt the other. And so it's hard, except for with these overarching principles of watch what you hear, watch what you think, watch what you say, watch what you do, watch what you crave, watch where you go. Good passage, 1 Corinthians 9:24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run, this life, run your life in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that isn't even going to last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I don't run like someone running aimlessly. I don't fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and I make it my slave, so that after I've preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. He said, I discipline my body, I make it my slave so that I will do what I need to do. So I think we have to decide if we want to live for God, and if so, we have to discipline ourselves to live like it. Otherwise, we're going to be like all the other hypocrites who say they're Christians but live like everybody else. And you're going to have a meaningless life, or one that certainly isn't as meaningful as it should be. Proverbs 25:28, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Totally vulnerable if you can't control yourself and your own body. And then I just put those 5 there again. So, how to live smart in a stupid world, how to control our cravings. I think Solomon gives us a good place to start. All right, we went over a little bit. Any questions? It's crazy what a sinful, stupid world this is. I feel like I told you, like a hamster on a hamster wheel, but I also think about like ants in an ant farm. And we just work so hard, and I usually think about that when I'm thinking about the government. The government couldn't care less what we do as long as we stay in our little ant farm. Don't poke the bear. People get offed when they start doing, people think that about Charlie Kirk and some of the others, is like they poke the bear, whoever the powerful one was. As long as we stay in our little ant farm and we build our little tunnels and we do our little thing, it's like they just leave us alone. Like, do this little American dream thing, and then they leave us alone. But I do think this is a stupid, sinful world. But that doesn't mean, like, I don't walk around all humdrum like, oh, what's the point of life? I just don't chase after what most people chase after, I think. I chase after you guys. So, all right, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for your word. God, thank you for the wisdom that you gave Solomon, and God, the wisdom that we can get from Solomon by reading your word and the words that he put in the Bible. God, help us not just read them, help us do them. Help us incorporate them into our lives. Help them protect us from making really dumb decisions that, God, we don't want to be defined by our dumb decisions. We don't want our dumb decisions to derail our life. God, just please give these guys wisdom as they start their careers and start their lives and start these big relationships that'll come up in their lives. God, please give them wisdom. Protect them from making dumb decisions. God, help us stay focused on you. Help us live a life that matters. It's in your name we pray. And everybody said, amen. All right. And then you guys can decide what you want for next week. We don't have to decide right now. You guys can see. But I love Solomon. I love Proverbs. Wine is a mocker and beer is a brawler. I always like that one. Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. Because wine makes people, when my mother drinks, she is so stupid. And she drinks wine. She just acts like a, you know what I mean? When people drink, they just act, I shouldn't have said that, especially I'm not on camera. But she's not watching. But people can just act so stupid. And then beer, like people get all, come on, let's fight. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff in Proverbs that you read and it's just like, oh yeah, that's true. That is so true.
I think it's a good topic to start with.
What's that?
I think it's a good topic to start with.
Oh, good. Good. I really like it. I like Proverbs 6 where it talks about like, these 6 things the Lord hates. Yea, verily 7. And then it talks about things that he hates so much. And some of them are obvious, like hands that are swift to, what is it? Feet that are swift to rush into evil. Hands that, something innocent blood, but like murderers, people who are, and then haughty eyes. It's like, man, I wouldn't put haughty eyes, like, those other 2 don't touch me at all. Like, I don't have feet swift to rush into evil, and I don't have hands that something innocent blood, but I don't know, sometimes maybe I'm a little haughty. It's like, oh, I don't like that one. That one pokes a little. Lying tongue is in that list of like 7 things. In the same category as murder. It's like being a liar. It's like, anyway. But I'm glad you guys told me where you wanted to start. That was fun. Cool. All right, get more pizza. So Buster's going to solo Monday. That's a plan. We'll see how the weather is. We'll see how everything goes, but that's the plan.
I'm excited. I'm nervous.
How more like finally? You know what I mean? Because it's been postponed like twice.
Well, then when the planes went down, you didn't fly forever.
Yeah, grades.
Oh, and grades. Grades grounded him forever. Forever. But you didn't have that much rust. Your first flight wasn't great. But then by the second flight, you are already kind of in the groove again. And now you're ready to go. So that's cool.
I had to buy a new phone today.
You had to buy a new phone?
It's so sad because it's so many times it was needed, but yeah, it was like if I had to download a new app, I had to like go into like 35 apps to download. I was 11. I was like, I don't need it. I don't need it. If I want, I need. I was trying to be responsible.
That's cool.
I guess, yeah.
So now you have what, 17?
Yeah.
I think it was 10.
I know. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like this thing. It's like it gets kind of like big and blocky.
It is, yeah, mine's not as big and blocky, but yeah, when they first came out with that, it didn't seem as sleek.
I don't know. See, this one is nice. This one is nice because see this huge block in my hand. I don't really
probably, because those are both 17s, but they're
Yeah.
different.
Smaller.
17 Pro Max. It's like fat and heavy.
World War II.
Oh.
And then they were like, "Oh, do you want to buy a case and a fixture?" And they're like, "Yeah, that'll be an extra $40." I could get a case for like $5 at Walmart.
Yeah, I get cases on Amazon
Yeah.
for like $10 or
Absolutely not.
$15.
I'm gonna spend $40 on a case. I'm gonna change it next month.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have the 12 mini, the small phone, because it was easy to carry. But then I got big because I started doing more stuff on it. So it just seemed like having a little more real estate would be good. But
I got this watch because I'm not allowed to take my phone down to the lounge room after my phone up there. So like in case I get a massive
oh, that's good.
I wasn't there last weekend either, so that.
$50, I had to spend. I have good credit though. I have really good credit, so I got good deals and everything.
Good. And the watch is handy
Yeah.
because you can use it. Does yours have like a cell plan on it where you could literally like make a call on your? Yeah, that's handy. Especially if you can't. I mean, I kind of see that as a safety thing.
Yeah, I take it down with me. I just keep it in my pocket. I don't take it out. But I, like even at school, I was just like let it in the box and stuff. But I never did because for me, I felt safer with it in my pocket. If something were to happen, whatever the case may be, I have my phone on me. I can just
Yeah.
some sort of lifeline.
Yeah. That's why I'm never that strict with that. Because I do feel like as like a mom, I would want my kid to have their phone.
Yeah, and I even
And
told
it-
my parents beforehand, I'm gonna keep it on me. I'm not gonna take it out in class because obviously I have that respect, but I will keep it on me.
Yeah.
Just safer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know we're not supposed to either, but it's like, okay, guys, put away your phones. Okay, let's get started.
I think as long as they don't take it out, like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. It's funny because some guys will get busted. Because like we'll ask a question and they're like, oh, well, let me, and then they're, okay, and then they put it away.
When I would go to class, to your class, I usually would put it in the box. Sometimes I would forget it in my pocket, but I usually would because you left it unlocked. A lot of people really lock.
Well, they're pretty behind the desk.
Hmm.
I have this
My favorite one though,
Well, I was always kind of scared that someone might steal somebody else's phone, but I don't think that ever happened. Not in my class, it didn't, but you know what I mean? You see a phone that it's like your 17 fancy one, and you have an 11, and you think,
I'll be kind of dumb though because they track it.
yeah, true, true.
And I love you, and I can't actually see you way too far away, so I don't know what you're doing.
Did you turn that off?
I like leaving it on, so I can hear you guys talk.
Okay. But I want to say things that I don't want everyone to hear. Just kidding. I'll just mute.
That's our time to figure it out.
Yeah. To skedaddle. I told Stryker, I said, you know, Buster always says he has to skedaddle. He's like, that was mine. And I was like, oh, I don't remember you saying it. I remember Buster's. I think it's his. No, that was mine. I always have to skedaddle.
I might have picked it up from Stryker.
Yeah?
Like, I sometimes find myself saying, like, oh, just skedaddle.
Yeah, if I say it, I always think of Buster.
I don't think I've ever heard them say that.
See, I don't think I have either, but I hear you say it all the time. Okay, Doc, I'm going to skedaddle. Mhm.
We've had a lot of funny times.
Yeah, he's cool.
When was Stryker where you guys are now? How many years ago?
Oof, 2000? No, sorry, 2020, 2020. 2020, I think, because, yeah, it's when I think I started Sam's in 2019, 2020. It was right when COVID started, or a little before COVID started, that I started at Sam's, and he was one of my first students.
I don't remember Stryker before COVID. Then again, I don't remember very many people before COVID, but I think he said he remembered seeing me a long time
A long time ago.
I don't remember anyone from school ever. I feel bad because I don't know, I don't mean to be like, oh, no one mattered enough to remember. But I really didn't pay attention. Because sometimes Gary would be like, oh, do you remember this person? And I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about.
happened like 8 years ago with COVID and before COVID. I'm like, I've been with you that long. I've only met you this year.
Oh, I didn't know Mason. Oh, I told